Let's jump into 31 through 40, and a reminder to read the full rankings. They're all on NBCSports.com if you want to keep up with them there as we jump.
Or rotoworld.com.
Or rotoworld.com.
Right. There's a little Matthew Berry tab. It's very easy for you if you want to find
You
them
have
out.
your own
I have my
tab.
own tab.
One of the great tabs.
One of the best tabs.
Top 10 tab.
Top 10 tab. Some people are saying it's the best tab in the universe. Not me, of course, but some people are saying
Oscar-nominated tab.
It's the greatest tab of all tabs
Natalie lost to Oppenheimer.
ever. Right,
Great tab.
exactly. It's the Oppenheimer of tabs. It's not the Barbie of tabs.
No,
yes,
Barbie lost.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
31.
Exactly. It's the Kevin Stefanski of tabs,
The coach
if
of
you
the
will.
year.
I don't know how many people know this. Kevin Stefanski actually won Coach of the Year.
I actually just found that out.
Yeah, 1,000%. A lot of people
watching the
did.
exclusive interview.
A lot of people did. But I'm just telling you, Kevin Stefanski won Coach of the Year. Yeah. Exactly.
For second time.
Yeah, exactly.
31.
DeMeco Ryans now he's behind the 8 ball on it because they're like, they gave you Stephon Diggs, dude. Like now
we have
expectations.
Yes.
I still think he'll win if they get the 1 seed. Connor and I were talking about this on the chain that you're not a part of.
Yes.
DeMeco Ryans gets the 1 seed after losing on a tiebreak this year. He's winning Coach of the Year.
They're going to give it to him.
Yeah.
I wonder what those odds went to because it was plus 1,600 at that time.
I don't know.
1,600. I don't know. There's so many. Anything could happen. Like Dave Canales could win 10 games.
If the Lions wind up with a 1 seed, Dan Campbell gets it.
I like that too. I like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
America and the media love Dan Campbell.
Yes. He's also just he has so many Coach of the Year type of moments because he's just going for it on 4th down. Such a loud coaching moment.
Yeah.
You just point, that's coaching, the fact that he went for it. And I think he...
Controlled chaos, right?
Yes. I think he would have won it this year if the Taylor Decker thing didn't get called back against Dallas because that would have been such an
signature
epic
moment.
Win.
Yeah.
2 seed, Detroit Lions, best Lions season in 30 years. So, these are the things that turns on. And then you would have been right with the Kevin Stefanski nearly winning Coach of the Year because Dan Campbell would have won it.
Campbell currently 15-1 according to our friends at DraftKings.
There you go. I like that.
I like it.
31 through 40, and 31 kicks off here with Derrick Henry, a newly signed Baltimore Raven. DK Metcalf at 32. Tank Dell, obviously, there's going to be change here, Matthew. He's at 33. There's going to be change.
We did these graphics just before, and then, of course, Stephon Diggs gets traded to the Texans just before we come on air. So
ignore that one for now. 34, Jalen Waddle. 35, Lamar Jackson. 36, Sam LaPorta, coming off an amazing rookie season for a tight end.
Yep, first tight end off the board there at 36 overall.
37, Isaiah Pacheco. 38, Joe Mixon, who the guys were pretty high on as we kicked off this show for the touchdown equity and in a great offense. And then 39, Devontae Smith, closed out by 40, Rachaad White here. Jay, I know you wanted to jump right into Derrick Henry at the top as he's with his new team in Baltimore.
Yeah, another fascinating player so DraftKings have up these player season total over-unders, and they have Derrick Henry set at 999.5 rushing yards. The under is -130, and 10.5 rushing touchdowns with the under backed. And so they're basically projecting him for 975 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns. And look, these numbers, they always look low because mentally you just don't kind of process the injury risk that is always baked in, particularly for a running back. But I don't know, man. I think Derrick Henry could easily get to 1,200 rushing yards and 13, 14 touchdowns. I think that he was a victim of just the situation in Tennessee and their offensive line, just a much, much better situation in Baltimore, obviously. So, look, he's not going to be...
The Ravens as a team had 20 running back rushing touchdowns. Take
they love
Lamar
to run
out
it
of
at the goal line with their running backs.
So, Gus Edwards and company had 20 rushing touchdowns as running backs for the Ravens. So that's the upside we're talking about with Derrick Henry. He's going to get all the running back touchdowns, you would assume, Cut to week 1 when they pull him at the 2-yard line, and here comes
Mitchell?
Justice Hill. Here comes Justice Hill to
Kenyon Drake off the break.
Yeah, exactly.
Melvin Gordon.
A 6th-round running back, just compiling them.
Yeah. No, I think Derrick Henry's going to have a big year. And again, he's not going to be the sexiest name because people have been drafting him for 7 years or whatever, but he is going to produce and he's going to be just the touchdown monster.
Matthew, you lit up when I said Sam LaPorta. He comes in your top 40, obviously first tight end off the board, as you said as well. Yeah,
last year tight end 3 on a points per game basis as a rookie, right? And limped through the injury towards in the playoffs there. But look, 86 receptions, most ever by a rookie tight end in a single season. He had a 21% target share here. And Josh Reynolds is now in Denver, and you're like, Josh Reynolds, whatever. But honestly, they haven't replaced maybe Jameson Williams gets more run, maybe Khalif Raymond. But listen, this passing offense is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam LaPorta. And Jared Goff has gotten good, right? They still play a lot of games in the Dome as well. His 10 receiving touchdowns led all tight ends last year, and I don't see any reason why he won't continue to be a big factor in the red zone. The other thing here is that you look at some of the other guys on the list there. You see Hawkinson, he's coming off the major injury, right? Evan Ingram, Travis Kelce, we know they're going to play limited snaps. Like, who else could be the number one tight end in fantasy? And it feels like LaPorta is that guy. He's a little bit lower than the normal number one tight end. We've seen years where Travis Kelce is a first-round pick, because I don't think the difference is, while I do have LaPorta as my number one tight end, I don't think the difference between him and Mark Andrews, him and Travis Kelce, is as massive as in previous years where it was like Kelce, big drop, and then you're 2-3. So that was one reason why he's here basically in the fourth round. The other reason is that he's not the number one passing option on his own team, right? That's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now he's still going to get a ton of looks. Again, that was the case last year. He was the third best tight end in fantasy. But unlike Kelce or Andrews at the sort of peak of their powers, those guys were the number one passing options on their team. LaPorta isn't. So I have him lower in the overall ranks because the difference between him and some of the other elite guys is not as great as we've seen in previous years.
I like how you said that Jared Goff has gotten good, as though he got like a makeover, like Steve Carell in Crazy Stupid Love, got like a makeover from Brian Gosling. Now he's good. Yeah, now he goes out, he dresses well. Stop drinking vodka cranberries.
Yeah, something like that. Like, Connor, though, am I wrong, though? Like, there has been the being in a better situation, having a great offensive line, but like when he was in LA, there was an inconsistency to his play that I think has been still every once in a while he'll make a boneheaded play, but Jared Goff is a much better quarterback these days in Detroit than he ever was in LA. That's my argument. You tell me if
behind a great offensive line, which is the most important thing for Jared Goff. That's the number one thing is if Jared Goff's not pressured, he will pick you apart.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's an offense written up by Ben Johnson that is designed on getting the ball out in timing.
Ben Johnson.
Yes. The fact that he's back
the one
is
that got
huge.
away.
Yeah, the fact that he's back is so huge, I think, because Goff is, to your point, the type of guy, like the NFC title game was the perfect embodiment of Jared Goff, where when he had time, he was excellent in that game. And then the one play, the fourth down play, where he had to create out of context. Well, yeah, he basically had to create by himself, and they didn't diagnose the fact that Dre Greenlaw was actually dropping into zone coverage, and then they just can't do anything outside of structure. But he's fantastic when in structure and protected.
Matthew, one more on this group before we move to 41 to 50. And I know this is hard to balance with different players, but does LaPorta having such a great rookie season, which is so uncommon for tight ends, give you some hope for when Brock Bowers is eventually drafted? And I know it will matter where he goes, but still, we're always careful with the rookie tight end because historically they just don't produce.
Yeah, no, certainly it does. I mean, again, where's he getting drafted? What's his competition for targets? Who's his quarterback? All those things. But I think that based on the success of the last 2 years, right? So it's not just LaPorta, but think about Dalton Kincaid, what he did, right? Think about even Trey McBride, his rookie year, right? Towards the end of that, like we've seen some of these rookie tight ends have a bigger impact than they have previously. So I think just at the college level, and I was convinced that had he stayed healthy, Luke Musgrave would have been a thing last year as well.
He had moments.
Yeah, and so yes, I have more confidence in Brock Bowers producing this year for fantasy than I might have 2-3 years ago because of the we've seen multiple rookie tight ends have immediate impact in fantasy. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.